So firstly, thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Thank you. So yeah, it's pleasure to be there.
So I've gone through your profile and came to know that you're an author, and I saw that you are into AWS.
Sorry, could you repeat, please? Something wrong with my connection?
Yeah, I came to know that you wrote a book.
No, I'm author of a Bini library for MongoDB. It is not it is not a book. It is a library for working with MongoDB from Python. So based on Pydantic, it is a data classes library and asynchronous engine motor. So yeah, it is a collaboration of these two giant things. So and yeah, I'm author of the library for Python.
Awesome. So before talking about that, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Roman. I'm living here in Germany now, but originally I'm from Russia, and I'm living here something around 3 years now. I'm Python developer mostly, so I know some other languages for sure, but Python is my main language, main programming language. I'm working on Python, I think, a little bit more than 10 years. I started from 2.5, very old version of Python. So yeah, and I'm open source contributor and open source author. Yeah, I have some libraries, and the most famous is Bini. Yeah, Bini ODM. As I said, MongoDB library for Python.
So can you tell more about it, MongoDB Python?
Sure. So yeah, MongoDB is a database, a document-based database. It means it is a little bit different to most famous databases like MySQL or PostgreSQL, because MySQL and Postgres has tables as a main component of it with a strict structure, but MongoDB has a document as a main component, and document is very flexible. It means it can be any JSON in any JSON structure, could be stored into any collection inside of the MongoDB. So this is very useful for a lot of different tasks. But the thing is, it is a little bit hard to map JSONs into Python. What do I mean? It is not hard, obviously. you just parse in JSON and everything is okay. But as structure is flexible, as some fields could be presented in one document and could not be presented in another document, for example, or type of one field in one document could be, for example, integer, and type of the same field in another document could be string. So it brings a lot of complexity how to handle this kind of things. So, and my library, let's say, brings kind of structure into MongoDB world, because it uses Pydantic. Pydantic is a validator tool for Python, and the main purpose, let's say, is to parse JSONs into Python objects. So in Pydantic, you can define types of your fields. For the class, for example, field A is integer, field B is string, field C is data, date time, and etc. And when JSON is parsed by Pydantic, it's validate the data structure if everything is okay. So, and this tool I'm using inside of my library for MongoDB. So it means my tool for MongoDB can work with Python objects and map it into MongoDB as JSONs, and at the same time it can keep structure, validate structure, and just work with structure of all the documents. So it brings a lot of let's say it simplifies a lot of things. And you should not write a lot of validators and to think about data structures, to think about if everything is correct for the whole story of your collection documents and etc. So yeah. And another point of this is it is asynchronous. Python has asynchronous patterns now, like async await things. So it works with this. Why this is important? Because it is not the first LDM for MongoDB for Python, but it is kind of first asynchronous LDM for Python. And that's why I started to work with this, because last year when I started to play with Fast API, it is a famous framework for Python and web development. It is asynchronous web framework. I didn't find any tool to work with MongoDB, and I decided so I can write my own. So this is the story and a little bit information about what it is.
So you're a Python developer and you're doing this from last 10 years.
Even more, yeah, even more. I think I started on 2010, yeah, 2010. It's like this. Little bit more than 10 years. Yeah.
So what is Python and where it is used?
Sorry, could you repeat?
What is Python and where it is used?
For me, so for the whole world, it is. I think I cannot even count how many things you can do with Python. But for me, I'm using it a lot. So for sure, I'm using it for work to make money. Like, I'm building microservices. I'm building some data pipelines, how to convert and to transport and then transform data from A to B and etc. Also, it is used for me, for example, for very simple things like, for example, I'm keeping and sorting my digital documents with Python. I have some Python tools for my own only. With what I'm just sorting documents, because sometimes it is not simple, let's say, because sometimes you have different versions of the same digital document, like for example scan of your passport. Yeah, you have different versions of it in your cloud any day, and you have to understand which is the newest one and etc. And so with Python you can do it easily, like a few lines of code and you see everything. Also, I think so Python is used in, it was even used in the last expedition to Mars from NASA, when they sent I don't remember how to name it, they sent satellite, yeah, to Mars, and for this trip they used Python also. So I mean, from the very domestic tasks to really space tasks, Python is used in our world.
So how Python changed your life? How you developed your skills in Python, and what are the things that you learned in this long time?
Yeah, it is very interesting question. I think Python helps to structure your mind. What does it mean? Python itself, the very important part of Python is syntax. Syntax of Python is very beautiful, and at the same time it is very structured. It means when you read any Python program, Python code, you, even if you don't know Python but you familiar with another languages, you will understand what is happening, because it is very structured. So, and when you follow the rules of Python, when you follow the patterns which are familiar of Python, you're starting to think in this form, like you're starting to, to your mind is starting to be structured also. and this helps so much. I think just in regular thinking. So it is for me for sure. What I learned with Python for 10 years, I'd say the very big thing it is that Python, which was when I started to work with it 10 years ago, and the current Python, the same time and different language, completely different language, and somehow brings the same patterns from the past. If you will see now, it uses absolutely different even syntax. Now you can use data classes, you can use async await things, you can use context managers and etc. You could not do this 10 years ago, but at the same time you still use the same classes, you still use the same inheritance pattern and etc. So I learned that good things, even good things, will change with the time, and if you would like and you have to be in the same page as the whole world, you have to learn and learn and learn. Even the tool in the core tool of your development will change, and you have to follow the changes also. This is.
So how Python language is changing, is creating impact on the tech industry?
Sorry, could you please repeat that?
How Python is creating impact on tech industry?
Yeah, understood. I think Python is a little bit more. I think Python is more about how to support tech in this industry. Like each day, new problems are involved. New problems are created by different departments, different people, different areas, like from machine learning to automation sector, from food tech to med tech, and etc. And you need a tool which people can learn fast. In med tech and in food tech, people should not learn just to start solving problem, should not learn too much, like C++, for example. If you want to start solving problems with C++, you have to spend like 10 years just to start it. With Python, you can start tomorrow. Today you will read the book, and tomorrow you will start. And in this, I think it is the best language for this kind of problems. And after that, when people just starting and just involving in this process of solving problems with Python, they found that Python can do more and more complex things also, not only the simple things. And so I think this is the best language for all the problems, and you can start to solve them right now. This is the main feature.
So I'm sure you have idea about AWS, Amazon Web Services.
So I'm working with AWS Web Services for sure, but I don't think it is like it is very good. It is a giant step from from the time when we had a dedicated server for each website, for each thing, and now we have clouds, and we can do everything just as a puzzle. One block for this, one block for this, and these guys for this, and everything would be scalable automatically. It is fantastic. It is a magic. But the thing is, AWS, and this is a good thing that there are concurrents for AWS, like G-Cloud, like Azure. I don't know how to pronounce it. Azure, Microsoft Azure. I think nobody knows how to pronounce Azure. It is weird word. And that's other guys like DigitalOcean, I think, yeah. So for sure, for me, the best thing is they are there is a competition between these services, AWS and G-Cloud, for example, and they invented new things. Like 1 year ago, we had AWS Lambdas where we had to pass, for example, Python code, just raw Python code into AWS Lambda to run it. And now, for example, in G-Cloud, in Google Cloud, you can send a Docker image there and it will work. It is like, whoa, it is absolutely different thing. Yes, because when you have to send a raw code, you have to understand how you will maintain it, how you will keep versions of this code, because you can send only one version of code to the Lambda. But with Docker images, you have a Docker repository and you can send it, and yeah, it is much simpler. And it is with every piece of blocks of AWS things, like queue systems and authorization system is fantastic. Yeah, I like it very much.
So how many services that you have used in AWS?
So it's hard to count because probably I don't know how. I mean, I'm a developer, and for sure we have other departments like DevOps department where people work with AWS more, let's say, directly than me. But for sure, I'm using queue services like SQS or SNS, so depends on the task. I'm using EC2 instances for sure, because I have to deploy my code somewhere. And as I said, AWS Lambdas and S3 as a storage. It is S3. I think it is a thing which changed the whole industry the biggest way. Like I don't know. Before that, we had to work with static files. I don't know how did we do this before S3, but now everyone knows what is S3, even outside the tech industry. Yes. So S3. What else? Yeah, some authorization tools, some things like Nginx inside. I don't remember the name of this. So some web tools and etc. Some logging tools for sure, because so you cannot work without logs. And yeah, I think I can count 20 or 30 services which I'm working in different projects with AWS now.
So how many projects you did in your life?
It is even more. even now I have a few pet projects which I maintain on my own. Just for example for my home, or for just to understand the idea. And for sure in my work, I'm working in automotive service now, in how to name it. So we are compressing data, as in the serious Pied Piper, probably you know. So we're compressing data, and we're compressing data for different areas, for different for robots, for drones, for automotion, and etc. Different types of data. And for this, for sure, we have a lot of projects, like and I think hundreds of small microservices and huge clusters of microservices for different tasks. So I think it's impossible to count now. Nobody knows.
So presently you're working on?
Hmm?
Presently you are working on?
So sorry, didn't get you. What do you mean?
On which project you're working on right now?
Yeah, right now. Sure. Right now I'm working on a bunch of projects. The last one, I think I did changes. It was a project about files, about how to pre-process files, how to so when you upload file into S3, it should be pre-processed. Some metadata must be extracted so to be able to process it later, some metadata you have to extract before. For example, if this is video file, for example, you have to extract number of frames, resolution of video, and etc. So which format of video is used, and etc. So, and when you upload different files, different preprocessor should work on it because for video it is a video preprocessor, for CSV file it is CSV preprocessor, and etc. So different dozen of formats. And yes, I worked on a project which we decided how to pre-process this file or that file, and how to and where to send a message, and etc. about the results of. So it is a little bit hard to explain because a little bit out of the context because there is a huge bunch of projects, but yeah, this is the project I worked on.
So what do you do other than developing?
Sorry, didn't hear again.
What do you do other than tech? Other than technology, what you do?
Yeah. So I have a son. So I have a little son. That's why I spend most of my time with my son, because so he's 2 years now, and so he's absolutely the most interesting thing in my life for now. And I'm playing and just spending time reading tales and etc. And also I'm doing some sport, like I'm trying to run. I want to run a marathon next year. Probably I will be able to, I don't know, but I plan to. So yeah, this is what I'm doing now. A little bit sport and family. In this coronavirus time, we found that we have some more time for family, because we don't have to. At least I don't have to ride to work because I'm working from home, and so this is for me. This is a very nice time because I can spend a lot of time with my family now.
So tell me more about tech industry in Germany and about the job opportunities in Germany.
Yeah, sure. So Germany, you can separate two Germany areas: Berlin area, where I am now, and let's say Munich area. So two big cities. For Berlin is a capital of startups, let's say. There are really thousands of startups here in Berlin. I don't know why. I think something about taxes. But in Berlin, there are a lot of startups, and literally every second person has his own startup, big or small, but so this is the truth. And on another side, we have a Munich with corporates, with like Siemens, and different banks and etc. So huge multinational corporations are in Munich, and so related jobs are a little bit higher salaries, but I don't know, a little bit higher salaries. I think it's good. So. This is two areas, and there are a lot of jobs now in Germany. And also, like for technical guys, it is really good times because yeah, everything is solved with programming, with development, etc. So, and in Germany there are really a lot of the market of jobs is really huge for technical guys now, as I can see this for sure.
So for people like me who did masters in software engineering and did graduation in computer science and engineering, so tell me about the opportunities and the packages that we get if we move from our country to your country.
Yeah, I see. So I think You can just, so yeah, it depends on your starting skill set for sure. Like if you knows how to, for example, how to program in Python, you can try to go as a, I don't know, as a junior developer or as an intern developer to any. Here in Berlin, there are a lot of positions for junior and intern developers, and you can easily for 1 or 2 years become a middle developer for sure. So, for example, I don't have any degree, no master, no bachelor. I just started to work in Python. So, and for a few years, really for a few years, I started to be a middle developer. So I think with master, you can do it much faster because you have a lot of theory inside your mind, yeah. So 1 2 years, and for sure there are a lot of positions where juniors are needed, and I really like to work with juniors also, and in my company, for example, there are, so we're trying to teach, to explain things for juniors and to explain how to do things and how to be how to be middle programmer and etc. So yeah.
So what will be the packages for intern, for beginner level, for the junior level? How will be the salaries?
So it is really, it depends for sure. I think I cannot check it myself because I'm not a junior developer and I cannot ask. But I think the fork is really high. Like it starts probably around 55 and can be uh, 55 or euro per year annually, and from 55 to 70 probably. Yeah, the huge difference. It depends on if you will come to company where they need new developers right now, right to this position. You know. They in very need of this. They will pay more if any startup is searching for people, not really actively, so they will try to pay less. But the thing is, they need us more than so they need people more than the market has, and that's why salaries are growing and growing and growing, and I cannot even, I don't know how to explain it. Like last year, it was a different picture. This year, it is another picture, and next year, it will be a totally new picture about this. But salaries will grow and only grow in Germany. So anyway, because the market is empty about developers.
So can I work from here for German company?
I think yes. It depends again. There are things like GDPR, for example. It is something about personal data security. And based on this, if you are working with customer data, you have to be located in European Union, as I know. But if you don't work with personal data of customers, you can work from any location. So it depends again on your duties for sure. And a lot of startups don't work with customer data because they work with something else, with business, B2B sector, for example, and they work like with transport pipelines, how to deliver things from A to B and etc. And they don't work with personal data at all. So for these companies, you for sure can work from any location. Doesn't matter from India or from, I don't know, United States, Australia, Russia, anyway.
So if there is any opportunity, let me know for the as an intern or as a beginner level. I can work from remotely if because you have a huge experience in Python. So if that is possible, let me know. And also my audience from anywhere, they are listening, they're watching, right? They will also benefit from this valuable information.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what to answer for this. So yeah, yeah, I don't have any idea about, but just so yeah, I think the best thing is the world is open now, and the best language you should learn is English because if you know English you can work as a programmer. If you don't know English, so your chances are not really huge. Yes, but yeah, if you know English and you want to learn any other programming language, anyway, Python, Dart, JavaScript, anything, you can easily find a job in this world now because it is very open this time. When we understood that we don't have to meet each other in person, and any meeting could be replaced with just one email. Yeah, you can send this email from anywhere these days.
So I took training training as a AWS solution architect position recently, and I have understood the basic, the fundamental services of AWS, EC2, Lambda, and SNS, like the fundamental services, the primary services of AWS. So I have like overview knowledge about it, and I also understood the Microsoft Azure services that they are providing. But I think both the services are same, but the names are different.
Yes, yes, this
Like
is
you mentioned, MongoDB, the database is also the names of the it are different in Azure and in also GCP, and it can be also in Alibaba Cloud. So we have like different names, but the services that they are providing is same.
yeah, correct. Very good point. And I think this is because they're trying to unify standards. Because people with knowledge set of AWS would be even more valuable for if Azure Cloud will implement the same interfaces for their technologies. So and that's why it is good again for us because because they're using the same interfaces in G Cloud, in Azure, in AWS, etc. The only thing is different is pricing. I really don't understand the pricing model of AWS, how they calculate everything, because for me each month it is like a surprise. So they calculated this amount of dollars for this instance, but last month it was different for the same instance, for the same load. It was like, okay, I don't know. If it's not more than, you know, exact amount of, for me it's okay. But I really have no idea how they calculate these prices.
So I've designed my websites using WordPress. So
Uh-huh.
where we have like customized already themes are there already, the plugins. Just we can install the plugins and just we can create the basic the websites, uh, and I think it is developed in PHP, using PHP.
Yeah.
Right. What is the difference between PHP and Python?
It is to so there are similar things about this. Both are script languages, so it means and PHP and Python not compilable languages. You will not compile your PHP code into, you know, binaries, and we don't compile Python code into binaries also, like C++, for example, or C or Rust. But as I remember, PHP is I don't remember if it's static type language or not. So yeah, differences are not that huge. Like the main syntax words are the same. In PHP you can use for loops. In Python you can use for loops. In PHP you can use variables, while loops, and if conditions. And in Python, you can do the same. So there are differences for sure, but in small things like class implementations, like generators and context managers, and probably something else. But yeah, with Python, the thing is, if you know any language, like for example PHP, and you want to learn Python, you can jump simply for a few days. Like if you know the base syntax of PHP, Python is not a problem for you, definitely. But PHP itself is very popular also. Like as I remember, more than 80% of internet is built with PHP. Like most of websites are built in PHP, so that's why good choice also.
And you don't have tech background, but you entered into tech industry. You are working as a Python developer. So how you made it possible? How you made yourself to convert your non-tech mind to the technical mind, and how you are habituated to that? How was that? That
Yeah.
transformation.
So originally I studied mathematics in the university. I started to study mathematics in university, but I didn't find how I can, what will be my future if I will know mathematics that well as other guys. And I decided to try something new. And when I just started, I started to write small programs with Python, with Flash, with PHP and JavaScript, so with different languages. I started with all of them. And one day I found that it is more interesting to just to develop than to study for me. And as a plus, it started to bring money for me. So I didn't find any reason to continue my education because I already can do something interesting. Because development is for me it is the most interesting thing you can do. You can do really huge, valuable things from nothing, from literally nothing. Just type something and voila. So yes, this is the most interesting thing for me I found, and at the same time it can give me money, so I have no reason to continue my education. I decided and I just left it. So for me it was a thing.
So is
I
it?
think,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Go on.
I think a lot of developers all over the world just stopped their education with the same motivation as me, because if you not study computer science but you study something like mathematics or physics or something like this, probably you can develop also, and probably mathematics is not is not the thing you have to study now, because this world in 21st century is not about theoretical mathematics. I think it's more about computers.
Awesome. So is it important for a product manager or to have the technical knowledge in order to manage the team?
I think it is preferable. Like if you understand the problems of your team, the how to say the problems people face, and if somebody's stuck, and you can also understand how serious this problem is, or if it's just just one day delay, or it is fundamental problem of implementation of something, and you have to pivot this task to something else. It is good. It is good to you to understand the field where you work. I think it is for any manager. If you're a manager of people who, for example, making roads and you know theory of road building, it is good for you. If you're a manager of people who who are baking bread, You have to understand how to do it also, but it is not necessary for you, to understand it in very details. Like you should not to code yourself really much, but you have to understand the basic concepts of it for sure. So this is my opinion.
So, what do the basic questions that always the juniors and the interns ask you about Python?
Um, I think the problem is that not that much as I want to. Usually I answer without questions, like I'm reading the code and I'm doing like, look, here is a problem. Here you probably it's better to wrap it into a class and move it to another module. And here you can code the application, and etc. So this is the thing. Yeah, this is the thing. To not have fear about asking about questioning at all, like and it is a rare thing when junior can ask a lot and can ask about everything he or she doesn't understand. But the main question, I think, the most of the question is not about implementation, but about how to start the project uh, from which point. Yes, you have to start it for like to make a model, for example, or to make roads if we are talking about web application, or to make tests and to implement TDD pattern, yeah, and etc. Like more or less general, not coding problems. But yes, about the code, for me it would be better if juniors will ask more and more, and each time I'm just in every pull request I'm trying to explain that probably it's better to ask before pull request about this, because as I see you are not you don't know this field, so if you don't understand it, please ask. This is this is the main thing for me.
It's amazing. So, at last, do you want to say anything, any tips or anything, any points that the Python developers who want to become a Python developer, or who are already a Python developer, and like it can be an intern or beginner level or intermediate level, or the expert. So, what do you say to them as a experienced guy, as a person who is into Python development from long time? So what do you say at final? What is the whole thing that you understood about Python development, and what do you say to everybody who is into Python development?
Yeah, this is interesting question. So let's start from tips. The very first and very I think the most important tip is just start. So you should not collect list of articles about how to build this, and how to build that, to read it before you can start. You can start right now without any knowledge with Python. You can just start it, and then you will read everything you need. If you don't understand anything, you can go to Stack Overflow, to Google, and you will understand everything. For sure, because if you will collect and collect and collect, you will never start. This is the biggest problem. And I know some cases where people have hundreds of articles in list to read, and even I cannot read that because too huge list. About Python development itself, what I found, what I see. So there are pros and cons for sure about Python. Like it is not really fast language. I mean, it's not fast as C++ or Rust because it's not compilable language. But from another side, it is language where you can fast develop things. You can check your idea. If you just want to try this or that, you can check it much faster than in other languages because it is not really verbose language. What you can do in a few lines in Python, you will do in dozen lines in Java or in 100 lines in C++. So this is the very good about competitive in Python. And but for sure it doesn't matter which language you will choose because even I didn't choose after 10 years of development. I didn't choose only Python. I'm working with for example, NIM is a small language which can be compatible as a C++, with Rust, with JavaScript for sure. This time everyone will work with JavaScript any day, and etc. So you just should not pick your language. You can try, and if you like something about language, about Python, for example, just start to do this. This is my tip.
So I'm sure a lot of people will get answers from you for a lot of questions that they have in their mind. I'm sure this interview helps them. So thank you very much, Roman, for giving me your valuable time and spending your valuable experience with my audience.
Thank you very much for having me.
So do you have any websites or do you have anything that you want to share with my audience with which they can connect with you and they can know about the work that you are doing, that the knowledge that you are sharing?
I think yes, I have a GitHub account, so I can share the link with you. So there you can find most of my public work and etc. So yeah, I will share the link with you.
So I'll put the link in the description of this video. People who finds our video on YouTube can see your link and can see the work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. And at last, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube, and what do you think about it? And what do you say about my questions in this video, my performance?
Yeah, it is. So for sure, I saw a few videos from your channel, and mostly about from authors of different books, and these books are in my list to read now. Another huge list of reading. Yes, it's perfect videos. Questions? Yes, I like your questions. Thank you very much for them because it was interesting for me to talk about these topics. Thank you.
So I have a technical podcast and I have a technical YouTube channel. So I don't know whether you saw that or not.
So yeah, for sure, yes, I saw this.
So me talking with different country people who are into different professions, and who are also who are into technology from long time, like you. You have like 10 plus years experience. So me as a beginner, me talking with like all these great people, including you, having huge experience in technology and who are already into the industry. What do you think that I learn from you all people, and what do you think that people who are following and who are watching my videos can learn?
So I think they can learn a lot because you are doing a great job to be honest. Like to connect people from different areas is very is a very good thing. From very areas, I mean, from very technical areas and from different geographical areas, like from Germany and etc. So yeah, and people people could learn how to do things first of all, and this is the biggest thing they can learn from anywhere. And yeah, you are doing this. It is great.
So I'm sure in coming days, a lot of people and a lot of clients of yours, a lot of companies, or a lot of things in the internet are going to get benefit of your because of your contribution. And I'm sure in coming days you will do the great things with technology and with Python development.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir, again. So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Sure, for sure. This is your video.
and and also, can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website, social media, internet, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, sure. I do agree with this.
Yeah. So if you want to tell any information, or if you have anything to share anytime about Python development, or anything that can be helpful, or anytime when you have free time, if you want to share anything, you can message me. I can share your message through my medium, through my channel, and through my podcast.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, because a lot of people from different parts of the world will be watching this, and lot of beginners are going to get benefit of your words in this interview for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thank you very much. Have a nice, no, evening, night.
Yeah, it's night. It's night.
Have a nice night.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.